Hey, Edward. Hey, kid. About how close to the shop are you? You already started loading it? All right. Well, have you got time to run up here? I've got a man from the Overdrive magazine that wanted to ride with you for one load, kind of see what it is we do. All right, we'll meet you down here in the parking lot.
That was the voice of John McGee, Overdrive's 2022 small fleet champ in the 11 to 30 truck division. He was on the phone there with his most recently named Driver of the Year, Edward Jackson. Jackson's tenure with John McGee Trucking extends back to when it was but a 2 to 3 truck operation. John himself was still hauling when Jackson joined up, moving loads of deep salty groundwater from well sites around his home base of Simsboro, Louisiana, west of Ruston, where I had the opportunity to visit with McGee and Jackson and company last month. I'm Todd Dills, and on today's edition of Overdrive, we'll drop into a local run I made with Edward Jackson, a steady Eddie, no doubt, as John McGee describes the longtime professional operator in the now around 20 truck fleet.
When he does complain, I know it's bad.
McGee lauds Jackson's consistency, and he and other top operators at McGee are well rewarded for such, pulling in anywhere from about $70,000 on the low end to well into the six figures at the top annually, where Jackson sits. He works for it, of course, starting most days at 4 a.m. and hauling through 4 p.m. in and out of oil and gas well sites and saltwater disposal intakes. Here's John McGee describing the timing of the run he was about to make with Jackson in January.
So after he loads, so it'll take him 25 minutes to load, 7 minutes to drive to the disposal, and about 30 minutes to offload.
Short work for a single round, plenty time turned out to get a sense of the man and his work. Jackson's the proud father of 2 daughters, one grown, and having delivered Edward his first grandchild just within the last year. We'll drop right into the Mack day cab he hauls in for McGee just after this break for a word from Overdrive Radio's sponsor.
When you have a diesel emergency, you don't have time to wait around for 911. Instead, call your lifeline, Howe's Diesel Lifeline, the only emergency rescue product to re-liquefy gel fuel and de-ice frozen fuel filters without the use of harmful alcohol. Always safe to use, you can pour it directly into your fuel filters without wasting time mixing it with additional diesel fuel. So this winter, if you find yourself stuck in a bind, skip the tow. Get yourself back on the road fast with Howe's Diesel Lifeline. For more information, visit howesproducts.com.
That's Howe's, H-O-W-E-S, howesproducts.com. I've got just 2 bottles of Lifeline left, one of which is destined for your doorstep if you call our podcast message line at 615-852-8530 and leave your name and mailing address for me. The Howe's prize pack also features a variety of other goodies from the company and its alcohol-free Howe's multi-purpose penetrating oil. Again, dial 615-852-8530. Leave your name and mailing address to claim it. Okay, here's Jackson describing the late model Mack Pinnacle, Mack engine-powered automated transmission that he's piloting on the way to drop downhill on a narrow lease road into the first well site to load with production water. Here we go.
It ain't about 2 years though.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
So it ain't nothing but 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you always in the same truck here with John? Or?
Yeah, I'm in the same truck. This is my side truck.
Yeah.
That time don't wait for nobody, dude.
No.
It goes on. Yeah.
How long have you been driving yourself? When did you start?
I started around like 2000, the end of 2007. I came out of school. I drove DOC. It's an oil field company too.
Okay.
They do like cement and car tools and stuff.
Okay.
So we were doing that. Then well, that's the only job I really want to hire somebody because you ain't got no experience when you come out of school. So they gave him a chance.
Right.
That's where I got started at. So
Cool.
I was happy for them to give me the opportunity.
How did you find John here?
I found John through a friend of mine. I was working at a job called Equipment Transport. What is it? Equipment? Yeah, it was equipment. And they were going out of business. But they ain't let us know they were going out of business, but it got real slow. And a friend of mine, he was working over here with Mr. John, and Mr. John needed some more people, because it was just him. It started out with like just Mr. John and him, and they was running everything.
Just a couple people, yeah.
What we doing now.
Yeah.
And he needed a little more help. A friend of mine recommended to him, and he called me one day. Been with it ever since. Going to this lease right up.
Okay, so this is like a lease room?
Yeah, I had just came in. Yeah, this lease here, it kind of get messy,
Yeah,
when I came in a while ago, he called like, oh man.
Yeah, how am I gonna get out? What did you do? Is there a place to turn around down here? Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I get down here and get loaded, see them tanks down there?
Yeah.
You'll see how it is. Kind of sloppy.
Okay.
Some of the leads we go down, man, you don't want to go down. They got you never know where the holes at, but we've been doing it so long, so we probably know where the holes and stuff at.
Right.
But,
not a lot of big hills in Louisiana, though, right? Not too bad, anyway.
no, it's not too bad over here where we at. But I have seen some worse, though,
Sure.
They recently, not too long ago, I'd say about a couple months ago, they had put these rocks down because it used to be real slippery right here.
Right.
And here, Edward Jackson and I in the day cab Mack reached the bottom of the hill, pulling up alongside two tanks, one containing saltwater that comes up with the oil and gas from the well, and which Jackson is here to offload and haul off to a disposal facility. After some rains the prior day, he made note of copious mud around the circle, just big enough to turn the rig around in one shot.
You see where we've been turning around going.
Yeah.
Get kind of bad.
Yeah.
Had the gas on us sometime.
Really?
Get up out of here. So basically, these are the tanks that I'm going to be pulling from.
Let me see if I can get this thing on my head. Supposed to wear a hard hat, right?
Yep.
He underestimated the size of my head.
Yeah.
What you're hearing there is the sound of the pump on Jackson's tractor that will bring the water into the dragon tank Edward's pulling. What Jackson did then was climb to the top of the main tank and, using a plumb line dropped into the tank, was able to determine with the help of a color-changing chemical just how deep from the top of the tank the oil and water line sat. He's responsible then for noting that level in a log on site before loading water.
What I do, I got to get my top gauge.
Okay.
My gauge is on the tank, so I got to climb that tank.
Yep.
I got to go up there and gauge and see what my water, if it got oil. But with this right here to tell you what water is.
Okay.
It's like a color cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like that 12.2, that's my oil level.
Okay.
And I got 11.4 water.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're basically sitting on top of each other.
Yeah, the oil sitting on top of the water.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is, you'll see I'm gonna, I got that. So I'm gonna put my fitting in there and I'm gonna hook up. So let me get my paper, right?
Go, yeah, no problem.
reading on them.
Yeah.
And so you go subtract it from the barrels you get.
Yeah.
And then so you basically you want to look at it or something?
Nah.
No, basically you just telling the pumper like what I had the level was in this tank.
Yep.
And how much barrels I got.
Yep.
130 barrels. What disposal I'm taking it to. Like we're gonna take it to the Winkle. So I put that on there.
Yep.
So I'm taking it to the Winkle. And I put my name down there showing that it was me to pull the well.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Makes sense.
What truck number.
Yep.
And everything
Company
like that.
and all that. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Some of them tanks have like little meters on them. That you ain't got to do the gauge line. Some of them be having like that, but these like old wells. So majority of the old wells ain't got them.
Yeah. How
But
old?
like the new wells, man, I ain't no telling how old these tanks is. I was pulling these tanks when I was with Basic. It was like, I know at least 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So they was here before then, you know.
Yeah.
They just recently painted this.
They painted them. Yeah.
Yeah, make them look like something. They used to be all old rusty and stuff like that.
John was telling me that there's some wells here that have been here since the 40s.
Yeah.
Around this area.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. You guys are serving.
Yeah.
How far do you live from here?
Well, I was born and raised in Hep, but I just recently purchased me a home in Home, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I just purchased one.
Where you were born and raised, how far away from here is that?
It ain't even 30 minutes.
Okay,
About
so
30
it's
minutes.
the same area, same general area.
Yeah.
Cool. What time do you start on a particular day? Like 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's early, golly.
Yeah. Try to come on in and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go all the way to 4 at the end of the day, or sometimes?
Sometimes I go over. You gotta get the job sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got kids at home?
Yeah, I got 2 daughters. One of them grown now, but I got one 13-year-old at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
The oldest is out of the house.
Huh?
The oldest is out of the house.
Yeah, she got her own spot.
Cool.
She just had my grandbaby, first grandbaby, 6 months. Turned 6 months. What that was? I think it was last Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, first grandbaby.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How long does it take to load one of these things? Typically 20 minutes or so, or what?
Some of these old wells, man,
Take longer,
about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like about 20, 25 minutes at the most.
Okay.
But some of them just be like they very old, and they know that saltwater, it get kicked up in them lines over the years of time. It's like forever.
Yeah.
And over the years of time, that saltwater ain't good for nothing.
Yeah, right.
Because you know that saltwater eats that trailer.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That's why some of them wells, I mean, like the disposal we go to, like we blowing out sometimes, they got them pots and stuff. Well, you have to clean the pot out because, you know, we got other companies coming in here too.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mr. John got the trailers that ain't got his bed liner. His trailer ain't got that bed liner in it.
Okay.
You know, it's some kind of special made. But some of them other old trailers, they be having that bed liner come out of there from all that salt water, hot salt water, flow back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got to clean that out sometimes. But we don't too much have that out of our trailers.
John McGee now orders trailers with a special liner that is better resistant to degradation than those that Jackson was talking about there.
See, I know my truck so good because, you know, I've been driving. You know, my pump will make a certain tune when I'm getting full.
Yeah.
See how it sounds now?
Okay.
Watch you, when we get close to loaded, you hear blue, 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 blue.
Okay.
You know? So I know.
I mentioned my run in Kentucky with dry bulk hauler John McCormick, who similarly could hear when the space above one of the open lower valves in his dry bulk tank was empty, just by listening for the change in the blower's tune. Turns out, Jackson has that sort of experience too, with his first gig many years ago.
Yeah, I used to do that too.
Yeah, you did?
At that job that I was telling you about.
Oh, yeah, the first one.
Yeah. I had to drive a long ways from where I was staying at. I was driving to Oil City every day. But I had to do what I had to do to get some experience, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Because didn't nobody else want to hire.
Did you ever think about really going over the road?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Yeah,
I drove on the road a little while.
a little while. Who were you working for?
Prefer material.
Okay.
Just like that's what we call like a regular saltwater haul.
Yeah.
It's I get bottom pull, oil transfer, stuff like that.
Okay.
So we call that service work.
Okay.
So it's something like that, similar like that, but you're doing a little different, a little more work.
Yeah.
You know? Oil transfer, we might be pulling the water off the well, and come back, got to transfer the oil out the water tank into the oil tank.
Yeah.
Or bottom pull, we got to pull the water off the bottom of the oil tank.
Yeah.
That way they can get an oil sale.
Gotcha.
Because they gonna thief it, and if they got water where they can't get to the oil before the load line, they gonna reject it.
Yeah. But when you come in on a day-to-day basis, do you know what you're gonna do for the day before you get here? Or
Pretty much, because he gonna send us text, email, or really text messages of what.
Previous day.
Yeah, what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a jump start on what you're gonna do. Then down the line, if something else come up, he gonna let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dispatch. So he gonna let you know.
It's got to be a pretty hectic job for him. He's got a lot of people.
Yeah, he got a lot on his plate. He don't hire some more employees. See.
Yeah.
So, like I say, when it first started, it was like it wasn't that many.
Yeah.
But
it's just you and a couple other guys driving.
Yeah.
John too.
Yeah, he was driving too.
Yeah.
So, like I say, he got a lot.
He's done well, right?
Yeah.
All you guys.
He take care of triggers right.
Yeah. I think he said you were their driver of the year.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know. It's based on a lot of different things, I believe, right? But it's just like safety and overall production.
And so we made our way on the short run back through the rural area, dotted with homes here and there, past a few other sites where Jackson occasionally loads or unloads water, sometimes blowing a tank of saltwater back down into an idle well as he described along the way. Before we reached the site where a saltwater disposal system was in place amid a much larger array of tanks utilizing gravity between their connections to separate gas from oil from the heaviest of all the liquids coming up out of the ground. That's saltwater.
Yeah, all them oil trucks. Well, oil trucks come get the oil.
Yeah. So this is the system that John described to me, where they're basically separating the oil and water and gas and
Yeah.
Nice out here. It's almost like you're walking around the woods a little bit.
Yeah.
Not really, though.
We got one man called the Hayes 10-1. And it's like, I know at least 5 to 7 miles back in the woods.
Oh, okay.
You the only one back there.
It takes a long time to get
Time,
Yeah.
I told Mr. John, I said, before I go back there again, because there was a lot of rain, and I said, before I go back there again, they need to replace the road. Because when I went in there, I was kind of skeptical about getting back out.
Yeah.
So I'm in there low, and here come a workover rig truck. He don't make it even worse because his truck even heavy.
Yeah.
When I came back out, I got out that first part. That second part, I was like, man, I said, I ain't gonna panic. So I had to drop the airbags down,
Yeah.
put all the weight up there on the front.
Sure.
And when I mashed it, I said, I won't get off. And she just climbed out slowly but surely, and I was like, I ain't coming back. I like that.
So back up a little bit on that. So so you're going down a 1-lane road and you got another truck coming right at you.
No, I'm on location.
Oh, okay.
It's a 1-lane road.
Okay.
But I'm on location getting loaded.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking if nobody else come back in here, you know what I'm saying, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because
But here he comes. Yeah, now you got no space.
He done
maneuver.
made different tracks, everything. He
Yeah.
don't like the guy stuck, slip and slide. So I got to go back out, going into his rut.
Yeah.
I made it out of one spot, but I came to the other spot. I'm like, man, only thing I can think about is I don't been in this predicament before.
Yeah, right.
So I'm way back here. I ain't got no service and nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he got out.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get out somehow, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he got out. But see, you know, like some of them pumpers, they should, when they go check their well, they should be able to tell do they need gravel and all that. But they ain't looking at that. They looking at that wheel in the big
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah, and if they don't have a problem getting out, they're just
they,
like, hey.
yeah, 'cause they got them 4x4.
Yeah, right. They've got there's a small truck, right?
Yeah, small truck. Just another day at the work. So,
In and out of the well sites, driving hazards aren't the only dangers in Jackson's line of work. While we were standing at this site, fumes from venting tanks were all around. John McGee described for me the monitors all his haulers wear that alert any operator to dangerous levels of certain hazardous gases in the air, designed to give them enough time to move should levels get too high. It's perhaps most likely when they ascend to the top of a tank, where Jackson in all this pointed out much of the fumes I was smelling were coming from this morning. He'd just been up at the top of the tank, getting a reading off of the gauges on this particular one before this bit of venting started up in earnest.
it's just like you at work every day.
Yeah.
So you know what to do.
Yeah.
You in your routine every day.
Yeah.
So you just gotta be careful what you do. You know,
Yeah.
anybody can make a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's supposed to be the best driver it is, you know.
Yeah.
So you gotta stay on your P's and Q's out here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, more so than you realize. A lot of people
Yeah,
realize.
that's why you gotta be very. Hey, anything can go wrong.
What's the worst thing that's happened to you out here doing this?
This is the worst thing that can happen to you. When you pull up and you come to a well and you see all them oil shooting out of it. Because you already know I'm probably going to be the one cleaning it up.
Oh, no.
So I don't pull up to a bunch of stuff like that. Tank got a hole in it.
Oh,
It done ran over or something like that. But it don't be our fault.
Yeah.
You just know it's the pumper. He might went to a location and he discovered it himself, so he might call us, you know. Just say if you come to a location, you see oil or something running over, or water, even water, coming out the tank. Now, your job is to report it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You ain't just gonna leave. And,
Yeah.
You know,
You got to do. Yeah. You got to do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a big thanks to Edward Jackson for his time and tutelage on this one. And to John McGee of his John McGee Trucking Small Fleet. You can find plenty of pictures from the run in the post that houses this podcast for February 24th, 2023 at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio. Look for a link to it in the show notes too, wherever you're listening. Overdrive Radio is on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, and numerous other listening platforms. Give us a review there if you're a longtime listener, thumbs up, recommendation to a friend. Really appreciate it. Reach out directly with any and all feedback via the podcast message line at 615-852-8530. Special thanks to House for making it all possible. Find their anti-gel and other fuel treatments via House. That's HOWES, houseproducts.com. Overdrive Radio is a production of Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's edited and produced by me, Todd Dills, with the acoustic guitar and other support of trucker songwriter and longtime Overdrive contributor, Long Haul Paul Marhofer. The theme is Legend of the Snake Man by Marhofer, featuring the guitar work of Travis, the Snake Man himself, Lamech, Terry Two Socks Richardson on bass, keys by Tishomingo Jim Whitehead, and on drums, Andrew Marshall. The podcast is backed up further by Overdrive's own news editor Matt Cole, social media coordinator Holly Young, executive editor Alex Lockey, and video editors Lawson Rudisell and Mr. Andrew Gwynn. See you next time.